So here are some magnetic paddle shifters for the Cayman 718 from Meister. Been looking for some paddle shifters similar to the GT4 RS for a while, but I haven't quite found a solution that I thought worked really well. There are some available which have screw on, screw off bits here. I wasn't entirely sold on them, but then recently I saw this product from Meister, which is a one-piece magnetic paddle shifter setup similar to GT3 RS. So first impressions, looks pretty good, feels nice, nicely machined. Indicator there, and then I guess the big test. That is a really nice action, to be fair. So if we look at it in comparison to the stock one, and then in terms of size, it's much more substantial. That feels pretty good. Okay, we're going to struggle for light a wee bit, so let's go and get them installed. Cool, so first thing we need to do is get the airbag out. To do that, there are two little holes on either side, and you need to pop something long and thin in to push the spring clip in. This is really annoying. Sometimes it will take 10 seconds, sometimes it will take 15 minutes, it just really depends. Just want to say at this point that anything you do to your car is at your own risk. I take no responsibility for anything that happens as a result of you attempting to install your own shifters. And if you are doing this, then best practice would be to disconnect the battery before you touch the airbag. It's likely it's not going to go off unless it gets the correct signal from the car to release the airbag. So if you want to play it fast and loose, do it this way. However, I would seriously recommend that you disconnect the battery before doing any work like this. There we go, that was pretty good. Okay. Next thing you need to do is disconnect the airbag. These two connectors might look pretty similar, but they're actually different. As you can see, the one on the left is all yellow and the one on the right has brown on it. So bear that in mind when it's going back on. Airbag out. And then there are some other connectors in here which we need to disconnect. They're a bit easier. You can just pull the top of the clip down with your finger and release that. Main bolt for the wheel is a M12 spline. Looks like a giant Torx, but it's not. And then your wheel should release. Get the back off, we've got 3 box bits here. I'm gonna guess T10. Yes. While the steering wheel is off, do not touch anything on there. That's the clock spring, and if it gets out of sync with the position it thinks it's in, or you put the steering wheel back on and something's not quite aligned, it can really confuse the car's computers. So at this point forward, be really careful not to touch the clock spring. And then this section pulls off. There we go. And that gives you access to the screws for these, which are held on here. Okay, so now the screws off the back, they just slip out. Not before you undo the connector for them inside. So there you go. I already had the Cayman GT4 paddle shifters on. These are about as good as you could get as an OEM solution, but I'm hoping these are just going to give a bit more of a OEM plus feel. So slide that in. So with the wheel like that, that is a much more deliberate action. This bit's pretty important. So you can see where the bolts came out. There is a line on the steering wheel itself, and there is a little dot on the circular part that the steering wheel slots onto. This is how your wheels have been aligned, and when you put the steering wheel back on, if these do not line up, then your wheels and your steering wheel are going to be out of alignment, and it's going to be really annoying. So when you're putting the steering wheel back on, take a few seconds just to make sure that the dot and the line match up perfectly. There we go. Let's get out the way in case the airbag goes off. And there we go. Sorted. So I'm pretty happy with that. That was a really nice action, way more deliberate, positive, engaging. Job done. So here's a couple of pictures of it in daylight, just to show how it looks in proper lighting. I'm really happy with them. I think they look very OEM. They look very similar to the GT3 shifters. They're one piece. They make a nice clicking sound and feeling when you activate them. I'm really happy with them. If you want to get some for yourself, go over to the Nine-Meister website. They've got them in different colours, different infills, and they also do them for different ranges of these cars. It's not really hard. It is a bit daunting. The main thing to be concerned about is the airbag blowing up in your face, but if you're careful and do sensible things like unplug the battery, that's not likely to happen. Probably allow about 30 minutes for this if you've never taken a steering wheel off before, but it's really simple and doesn't need too many tools. I'll put a link in the description to the Neinmeister website, as well as these shifters. They do a lot of other cool stuff for Porsches, so if you want to check the shifters out or generally have a look at their stuff, you know where to go.